going to say this like a whole bunch of times. So many people in Port Townsend still believe that nothing happened at Amy Sousa's press conference and, it's all good, right? I want you to consider over and over and over if that would be okay at the Steampunk Festival, if it would be okay at the Victorian Festival. There's this guy downtown that talks about the Bible a lot. There's people who have the blood of Christ signs. There's people who talk about art. There's people who dance with the fire. There's buskers who different music, different art. There's the Beloved Pride event, the Wooden Boat Festival, concert on the docks. The mayors, they do their red tape ceremonies, like for the trolley, for the totem pole. Native Americans come up and do stuff. There's all kinds of different groups that come to town to have events, whether they're the government doing it or people in groups or people alone. Or what about the beloved roadie? What if any one of those functions, you had it happen to you that happened to us? People trying to sabotage your equipment, ripping up your signs, screaming in your ear by the hundreds, pinning you to the wall, pinning you to the ground, taking the pride flag or whatever flag they represent that day. If you don't like the American flag or the Don't Tread on Me flag or a flag that says, I like beer or I like Coca-Cola. If any of those signs wrapped around your head at your event, would that be okay? If we rode bicycles around in your event, would that be okay? Anything that any of that mob did, one person and one thing they did, you wouldn't have allowed it once. You allowed it to us en masse, and while the police stood there and watched. Bjorn, a lot of people call him Muscle Tattoo Guy, was standing in the window of the Cotton Building. They could have damaged the building with this flagpole. The police stood there and watched. Okay, he's yelling at us. He's bumping people down. He's knocking people over. He's putting flags around people's heads. And this crowd, this pride, folks that were pride, straight men with AR-15 on their hat, and a trans flag. Oh, but we don't like guns here in Port Townsend. Well, we don't like them unless, we got them, right? And the officers come up and told the chief of police that they had guns. They didn't even try to separate the groups. They didn't bother. They just let us very, rapey, very women abuse, show those women. That's Chief Tom Olson and City Manager John Mauro and David Faber. You discriminated against us. You would not let that happen in any event downtown. Not one of those things would you let happen at any event downtown Port Townsend. Why us? You hated us so much? And you say human rights? No human rights here.